Welcome to the Heron Heads podcast. My name is Julio, and I'm joined today by some friends and fellow Inter Miami fans, Dave, Chris, and Jose. And on behalf of the guys, we want to thank you for joining us for episode 17 here on the Heron Heads podcast, your first stop for all things Inter Miami. For those of you watching on YouTube, thanks for stopping by, and make sure you hit the like and subscribe button if you're enjoying the show. We wanted to give a huge thank you and shout out to Matias, our chief Heron Head on Patreon. Thank you so much for your generous support. And additionally, thank you to our other Heron Head patrons, Art, Brian, Kevin, James, and Karen. If you feel so inclined to support us on Patreon, you will find a link in the description wherever you're listening. And if you don't feel so inclined, that's totally okay too. We appreciate you being here. As with our last preview episode, we have teamed up with our good friend, the attacking midfielder, a great Inter Miami resource that sends fantastic in-depth previews and recaps delivered straight to your inbox. To sign up or read past editions, visit attmid.com. The link will be available in the description below. Big match week for Inter Miami as we take on Atlanta United on Saturday. We've had another week-long break between matches, which is fantastic. We get some players back from international duty. We had Benha Kremaski playing in the U.S. men's national team last night against Oman. How are we feeling, Chris? How are you feeling heading into this very exciting match week?
Yeah, so like you said, we had another nice little break, not so much back to back. So it's nice to get some rest in. But it's nice to see these international matches already behind us, get our players back in here. It's nice to see the players play in their international teams, see what else they did with other players. But we want them back. We want Messi back. We want Crema back. We want all these guys back on our team and showing what they got. So that's exciting. So we got a big game ahead of us. It's a rematch of our Leagues Cup match, which we whooped on. We whooped on Atlanta a few weeks ago. So it's exciting to see what we're gonna do on Saturday against them.
Yeah, it feels really nice to be back. I know that we had that stretch that was back to back games, and it felt like it was just coming fast and furious. So we kind of welcomed these first few gaps, but I'm already over the wait a little bit. I kind of need my fix. I'm ready to go to the next game already, and yeah, I'm happy to get the guys back from their international stints. The only thing is I didn't like. I mean, this is unavoidable, but I don't like when guys get dinged up playing elsewhere. So we had Messi, who had a little bit of a what is it, like a lower body issue.
Just a little knock.
It shouldn't be a big deal, but we did lose. It looks like we lost Gomez for at least a couple weeks. So these are things that you don't want to see. And Gomez was just starting to come into his own, so that's not ideal. But I think overall the international stints served a lot of these guys well. You get to learn, get to play a little bit, different circumstances, see a little bit of some different competition. And I think the only one that I don't think really gained anything from this was Robert Taylor. I think that I don't know if he played much, if at all, for Finland.
He played a little bit.
He did? Okay. But I don't know if he was very impactful when he did. But yeah, I think it's good to get everybody back, and yeah, I feel good because we got a lot of guys who got a chance to play. So while they were gone, so I think we're better for it.
Yeah. Robert Taylor wasn't impactful. They were not impactful here. So it's just one of those things that he just is not impactful. No, just kidding. Not really. I'm really excited about having these guys come back. I mean, I feel like we've all been itching for this game now coming up. There's another playoff team in the East that we're looking at. And I'm pretty pumped about it. If we all look at the last game and what we did to them, I don't see any, there's a lot to be excited about.
Robert Taylor had his way in that match.
Imagine what Facu would do.
That's a good point. So, I mean, most notably returning to the lineup, obviously, is Messi. He played against Ecuador last week, and then he was not in the lineup against Bolivia for the national team. He did travel with them, but he was not even on the bench. He reportedly was just there almost as just support. He wanted to be there for the team, which is crazy because his son's birthday was over the weekend and he opted to be with the team to show his support. So it shows how committed he is to the game and to the team. And I think he has that same level of commitment to Inter Miami. So there's question marks of whether he'll play, whether he's injured or I don't think he's injured whatsoever. I don't think there's any doubt that he plays minimum 70 minutes this week. What's your guys' feeling on Messi coming back?
He's coming back with a vengeance. He's ready to take MLS by storm again, and he's going to put up goals against Atlanta. He's going to show what he's made of, and he had a nice break with Argentina, so he's well rested, I think.
Yeah, I think he's excited. He had to have seen what we did our last match, and the fact that these guys could pull off 3 goals, and saw a lot of the creativity that we managed to show. So I think he's excited about expanding on that and maybe amplifying it and playing with a little bit of more space. And definitely, I think we're going to see a lot more space this match.
Yeah, I think he played over there in Argentina. He did great, and now he's like, okay, now for the real matches. But no, he did really well there, and he scored a goal and a beautiful free kick that we've seen here before. We've seen it multiple times in his life.
Shocker.
Yeah, so it's just yeah, great. I think he's pumped. I don't see how having 9-game rest, a 9-day rest. I don't know how that would translate to 67 minutes. I'm actually expecting him to play a whole game.
I'm mostly thinking that the team's going to be protective of him since this is the very dangerous turf that we'll be playing on. I think that comes into the mindset of Tata and just the front office of wanting to protect the crown jewel of the club. That's the only reason I mention it. I think they're just going to try to get the top key players off the pitch when possible. I mean, if we're up 2-3 goals, then I think it really becomes a conversation that needs to be had. I think if it's a tight match, he plays until it's not a tight match, or until the final whistle blows. That's the only reason why I mention it is because of the turf. I don't think it's as overblown as people have been making it, but I do think it is a factor.
He grew up on that, right? That's what he said.
That's what he said. He said it was no issue whatsoever.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a good point, though. What you just said, I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking about his form right now. He's in peak form. Like I don't see why, but no, that's a good point. But like we're by 3 goals, like I think we'd be. Yeah, I don't see why 60 minutes.
Get Robert Taylor on. Get him some game time.
Sure. Put him in. Whatever.
Yeah, like what you mentioned, I think Jose mentioned that this is a big game. This is an Eastern Conference game. This is a must win. This isn't a Western team. We're back to the Eastern Conference teams, and unless they're up, like you said, 2 to 3 goals, there's no reason to take them out. We need to put our foots to their throat and just let them have it. There's no reason to sub them out early.
So this will also be a big match, or one of the sub stories, the subplots to this match will be it's Josef Martinez's return to Atlanta as well as Tata Martino's return to Atlanta. I heard that there will be some sort of like tribute video played for Josef Martinez. I'm interested to see what the reception for Tata will be. I not that people go crazy over like the coach returning, maybe some jeers here and there, but that's going to be definitely like a underlying storyline that is played a lot in the build up towards this match. The last time that Atlanta and Miami played in the MLS in the proper season play, in league play, I'm sorry, Josef Martinez came on late, scored a penalty, and then had another goal from the run of play. He was this whole season's been up and down for him. I don't anticipate him starting this match based on Campana's form, but if he does get on the field, he'll want to show that he still has juice. So that's going to be interesting to see as well. Does Josef Martinez see the pitch? How much does he see the pitch? And what does he do when he's out there? Because we're all kind of down on him because we're so high on Campana. But Josef, I think, will show up against Atlanta.
It's not just Campana. It's also Farias brings a level of dynamism that we expect from Josef Martinez. So I think Farias' arrival with the club kind of diminishes what we expect from Josef. But I don't expect Joseph to start, but I definitely expect him to come off the bench. I think Tata will do him that courtesy, especially in that stadium with that crowd, to get his flowers and to be applauded as he gets called onto the pitch. So I definitely think that we will see Joseph play, and that's why I think more he'll get called on in the second half, just so that the spotlight will be on him, and the fans will get their chance to appreciate him, because he did do a lot for that club.
Once we're up 4-0, right?
I'm not talking about the score at this point.
Look, ultimately, like we've said, their fans a few times, and I'm very sure we'll give them their flowers. But look, ultimately, did you guys watch you did. We all watched film together on the last game. There wasn't anybody in the stands. The only reason why there's going to be people in the stands are because our player is going over there and they want to see him. Let's be honest. That fan base is very similar to Miami's fan base. And I am a Miami homer, and I understand what we are known as, and we're known as fair weather fans. Atlanta's got the same number that we do. So it's just, I think it's important to understand that, like, okay, like you mentioned Julio about Tata. Is he going to get a G or a reception? I'd be surprised if they do, because it's a coach. But for example, when Pat Riley left the Knicks, that was met with jeers. People were pissed when he left the Knicks, so they left him high and dry. I don't know if people feel that affectionately about, like, the dude with the Knicks, the same way that these guys feel about the Atlanta United. I don't think this is the same level of enthusiasm.
Well, I think
they're literally a playoff team, and there's no one in the stands in the last game.
Well, a couple things. I think it's difficult on the broadcast to see how many fans there are, because this is an NFL stadium first. So the stands are not as tight to the pitch as you would find in other stadiums. And also, to the point of Tata, he was the manager of their MLS Cup trophy. Like, he was the captain of that ship along with Josef Martinez. And that's why I don't think there will be too many jeers. I think there will be an appreciation. It's a knowledgeable fan base. I don't want to speak ill of them, because on the broadcast it may not translate compared to some other more like other pitches that have more of a home field advantage, like a Philly or a Nashville or Cincinnati, where it's very difficult to play. I think something that helps those places is that those teams are built on a very solid defense. And we look at Atlanta, and they're one of the most porous defenses. So it becomes very difficult, although they're very high scoring. You get a situation like LA, which is they're very open. There's a lot of space in behind for opposition to get into. And I think that's what we're going to see a lot of in our match against them this Saturday. I think there's going to be goals galore for both sides.
Jose just wants to crap on the other team's fans. Like, that's the thing. I've noticed this every time that we play a team. It's like, those fans stink. It's like, okay, thanks for that.
And just so you know, just so you know, I couldn't be more wrong. Like, I'm just looking at their attendance, and
of course, because they have one of the biggest stadiums in the MLS.
It's literally at 49,000 each game. Like,
the announced attendance for Inter Miami versus Sporting Kansas City was like 17,000.
Yeah. All right. They're pretty good.
Atlanta fans, if you're here, please sub to the channel. We love you. Like, what are we doing?
It's important to have hot takes and look it up.
Yeah, if you haven't listened to us before, this is Jose's MO. He goes after the fans without having any clue of how many fans there actually are, or how tenacious they are when they root for their team. So sorry about that, but yeah, we are an Inter Miami podcast, so we're gonna be tuning that homer horn.
Look, ultimately, also, I'm used to being a Miami fan where everyone likes to shit on us, right? Go across the board. Everyone hates us. It is what it is. So I feel like that's the same level. But the truth is, that can't be far from the truth. People really like this Inter Miami team. There's some people that don't, right? But there's also a lot of people that are captivated by the story, and it's actually it's changing the way MLS sees themselves as a league themselves. So
that atmosphere is going to be really cool, I think. Yes. I was looking at, and you can get a ticket for like $100, which is one of the cheapest tickets you can get since Messi has been in the MLS, to see him play, right? So there's it's kind of like a sample set for if a game were to be played in Hard Rock Stadium down here, because there's way more seats, right? So there's like $100, $150, even if you're in section 300 plus, right? So I think there's going to be a ton of people. It's going to be more akin to some of these cathedrals of the sport that you see in Europe. I think it's going to be really cool. I think it's going to be really loud. It's a closed dome, right? They have a little part that opens, but even if they open it, it's still mostly closed. So I think it's going to be just this cavernous cacophony of, chants and cheers. I think it's going to be super cool. There'll probably be a ton of Messi fans. There's a huge, a Delta hub that's up there. Delta Airlines, right? So there'll be a ton of people that can fly in. I think it's gonna be a great atmosphere. I'm so looking forward to this match. I think there's a lot of really interesting subplots going on, and I'm excited to see it.
Let's dive in.
Let's dive right in. So Inter Miami, right? They score 3 against Sporting Kansas City. I think that we will just see more offensive prowess against Atlanta. Their defense is one of the worst in goals allowed in the entire MLS, and right now, we're one of the hottest offenses in the league. I don't see how they stop us. It's just a matter of outscoring them.
Yeah, not only scoring, it's getting our shots off too, because the goalie is one of the worst. They have one of the worst save percentages in the league, second worst, I think it was. So, like we said before, fire at will. We gotta get those shots off, and chances are they're gonna go in with a 57% or whatever save percentage. Chances are it's gonna happen. So let's get Facu in there. Let's get Messi in there. Get the boots on the ball and get it in, baby.
Let's get it in. This is going to be an extremely fun match. This is the type of match that I think Americans like to see. They like to see a lot of points scored, and we're definitely going to see goals go into the back of the net. So I'm extremely excited for this match. And, of course, any match that Messi's in, we're going to be excited for. But it's just the way that we're kind of hitting on all cylinders now. I don't know about all cylinders, but we're really getting into the flow of things in offense. So adding Messi to this mix, and now we're getting all these different young guys involved, and we're seeing a lot of varying levels of skill. It's exciting. It's really exciting to see how this team's evolving. It's gonna be fun. And I forgot what was the name of we just signed. We elevated. I think it's a
Santiago.
Yeah, he's not going to see the pitch, but if we're winning by enough, maybe we'll see a little 16-year-old out there running around subbed in for Messi.
Way too soon. Too many people are coming back that will fill up that bench. We have so many people that we haven't seen in so long. You got Ruiz coming back. You got Kremaski coming back. There's Taylor. There's way too many people that take up those positions ahead of him.
I want to see him.
That's fair.
You mentioned hitting on all cylinders, and you kind of backtrack. We are hitting on all cylinders. This team, even without Messi, we look like a well-oiled machine. Why not? We look like a well-oiled machine out there without Messi. Messi's coming back. Kremaski's coming back. We're a well-oiled machine right now, and I think we're going to prove it this weekend against Atlanta. I don't think we're going to have any issues. I don't
think that we're at the level of well-oiled machine. I just think we're playing well. We're playing well. We're a decently oiled machine right now. But yeah, maybe Messi's the extra bit of oil that we need to get it.
One of the biggest differences against Kansas City was the drop in possession. Right, without Messi, we saw the ripple effect of not being able to control the ball up to 55, 60%. It was the first time since Messi's joined that we had less possession than the opposition. That additional 6, 7, 8% makes a huge difference, especially now with the way we're attacking.
It's funny you mentioned that, Julio, because it's one of my favorite topics, possession.
You don't say.
Did you know, Julio? When Atlanta played Dallas and Cincinnati, they averaged 59%. Actually, they didn't average. They were at 59% versus both of those two. It was the last 2 games they played. Okay, and both of these guys, that's what they did, 59% and 59%. But did you know that when they played us nearly a few weeks ago, you know what the percentage was? You want to guess?
Tell me. No, just tell me.
62%. Good luck. And the people that what everybody keeps talking about, everything on Twitter. You know who they keep talking about? Wait till they see Almada. You want me to tell you what I think about Almada? He don't matter. How about that? What do you think about that, Julio? Giorgio Giacomakis. Initials GG. Let me tell you. You want me to tell you who's going to be saying GG by in this game?
We literally sent you the pronunciation, man. Literally.
Don't matter and GG at the end of the game. That's what we're going to be doing. That's it.
All right, let's
So
move forward.
so Almada, one of the best players in the league. Giorgio Giacomakis, one of the top goal scorers in the league. Both the most dangerous players on Atlanta by far. They are the ones that you have to circle when you look at the team sheet. Some of the first names on the team sheet. Atlanta has stars up and down. I mean, their goalkeeper hasn't been good this year. Brad Guzan has been around for a long time. 39 years old, veteran, understands that this is a huge game. It'll be interesting to see if he steps his game up, because I think we are going to fire at will and just unload tons of shots. This Atlanta defense is nothing special. There's going to be a lot of space, a lot of opportunity for quick interplay between the attackers. There's a good chance we see our preferred three of Farias, Campana, Messi, and then we'll see if Kramaski works in there. But, I mean, God, I just say that, and I feel the confidence pumping through my veins, Like, that's just danger. Getting Arroyo and Busquets, hitting balls in from deep. I don't know if maybe we stick to the back four or if we go back to a back five. What do you guys think about that?
I think Chris said that we're going to fire at Will, but we have to fire at Brad, because you just mentioned the goalie's name is Brad, and he was wrong about that. So just wanted to point that out.
Thank you.
I think I know we have to go 5 in the back. Like we said last match, our offense runs better that way. It's you explained it perfect last time. If you want to explain it again, by all means. But our wingers, they could do so much more with the 5 in the back, and it just helps us out overall. So I think it's a must. And then obviously you said it in the front, Facu, Campana, Messi, they're going to do work up there.
It'll just be interesting because I know we're not going to have Gomez. We have Arroyo. I don't know if we'll have Kramaski available to us. He did play. I know it wasn't a lot, but he did play, and he wasn't with the team the vast majority of this week. So it'll be interesting if I don't believe Kramaski will be starting at all. And I'll be interested if he's even on the bench. We did work in some of the newer players, so we can survive without him, especially with the amount of players we have available to us. But because of that, I don't know if we'll go 5 back. We might go 4 in the back, and then later on sub in somebody like Allen and put him in the back to have 5 back.
Kristaps back, baby.
Yeah, I know Kristaps back, but again, these are guys that haven't really been with us for a prolonged amount of time. You want to make sure they're back in the groove of things, so it's not just dropping them in and hoping for the best. Again, level of play is not the best, but defensively they are going to have to work. Atlanta does attack quite well, so that's why I think they might start with 4 in the back and then ease some guys in, and maybe in second half adjustments have 5 in the back. But yeah, I mean it's going to be fun. That's going forward now. The mix of players is going to be really fun to watch, and it's going to be a lot harder to predict lineups and to predict who's coming in and off the bench.
And
A key thing.
Until everything is unified, and we know everyone's back for sure. It's true.
Yeah, a key thing here is that we're talking about all the players coming back from international play, maybe not being in the groove of things or whatever, or playing or practicing with the team this week. But this is the second time we see Atlanta in just a few weeks, right? So we've obviously seen this team before. They've studied them before. They know their tactics. So that might help a lot with these guys coming back. Obviously, fatigue is another factor you have to look into. But as far as being ready and knowing the team and studying, they've done a lot of this study before. So they're very familiar already with this team. So I think that helps as far as the mental piece of this game on Saturday. They're familiar with them. It's not like it's a brand new team that they have not seen this season.
That was extremely familiar with them, right? He has these games circled. I'm expecting a huge game from Facu. I think in that role that Robert Taylor played, where he was able to get out ahead of the pack, I think Facu can definitely do that. Yeah, Alba and Facu on that left wing side, I'm super pumped to see how that works. I'm not even sure when I was watching the film. Now it just occurred to me: did we have Alba at that time? Or was he even playing? I'm not even sure. He could have. It's just something I was just thinking about right now.
Maybe.
Yeah, he wasn't really such a big factor in the game. Not that I know, because when I was looking, I was like, we were kind of working the middle a lot in that game. But no, it was a very fun game when we played them the last time. Everything was really open for us. He didn't play, so think about that. Now we're adding another winger where I felt like watching them play, they seem extremely weak on the outsides. That and just throwing the ball ahead to Messi. That's literally how we scored the first goal, where they threw it ahead to him. He bounced it off the pole, and he scored after. It's just I expect a lot more of that, a lot more outside working in on very nice crosses. And I don't think there's not going to be anyone there to stop it.
Yeah, we were talking before how, in a sense, Atlanta's similar to LA, right? As far as they play open, they don't sit in a low block. And I remember with LA, we were saying, oh, they're a little susceptible to long balls. Atlanta's susceptible to long balls. They're also susceptible to just build a play inside. They're susceptible to plays that go outside in, inside out. Like, they're susceptible to all of it. So, yeah, Alba did not play. We just confirmed in the past Leagues Cup match. They're going to have a hard time.
Think about that.
They're going to have a hard time keeping up with our attack.
We whooped them without Alba. And Alba just adds a whole dimension that they're like, they'd never seen before. They're like, whoa.
I can just imagine. I can imagine seeing a build-up play where Facu kind of tucks in just slightly, interplaying with Messi, and then Alba's overlapping, and Messi just hits him in one of those alleys, and Alba cuts in and has a scoring chance or can pass back like across the box. I could easily see that happening multiple times this match, no doubt.
They don't see these kind of guys every day. You know what I'm saying? These guys are incredible. And with the open lanes that they're going to have in this game, it's going to be so fun for us to watch. We beat them by 4 last time. Think about
that. Yeah, no doubt. It's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be a goal fest. I think whether it's, we'll get into the score prediction, but whether it's us scoring all the goals, there being multiple goals from either team, I think there's going to be just a crazy amount of scoring or offensive chances at the very least in this match that are going to make this game so entertaining to watch. Similar to how Sporting Kansas City was, except this time Messi is going to be on the pitch amongst others who were not available last match. As far as Atlanta, what are the things that they can do? We already mentioned Almada, very good. If they're able to get some set pieces, Giacomakis, Chris, we know he's a stud in the air with his head. Huge danger for us because we are very bad on set pieces. So that's a big concern. I think Atlanta averages about 5-6 corners a match. We need to keep them under that.
He's a big target out there. 6'1". I think he was the first or second in the league in headers scored. So he's definitely a big-time target. Doesn't go really great with our weakness. So it's something definitely to watch out for. Got to focus on him. Luckily, Christoph is back. It's a big presence there in the middle. Obviously, Campana is great with those set pieces, defending those set pieces just because of his size. So hopefully we can counteract his size with those guys.
Yeah, and Almada's crafty enough and skilled enough to find him in unique ways. He has the ability to do some crosses from way outside, from closer into the middle of the pitch. It's something that we definitely need to watch. If there's a route for Atlanta, it's by those two linking up together, or Almada just by himself taking over, Giacomakis taking over by himself. Our defense is the weak point, so that's what they're gonna try to focus on. It's gonna be a boat race, and who's gonna score more? That's my opinion of this.
I was gonna wait till the score prediction, but my confidence in our defense has gone up so much. Our core is back. We got our best goalie in the MLS right now, as far as on a hot streak goes. we got our defense. Kristoff is back. Aviles has been playing really nicely. And then Kamal Miller, our stud back there, that doesn't let anything by him. And if something does go by him, he catches up to him too. So, man, I'm not worried about these guys. Last time we're excuse me, we're worried about an offense is sorry, my throat, guys. Come on. And last time we were worried about an offense, I think it was LA. And man, our defense has gotten so good lately. I'm not even worried about these guys.
I get it, Chris. We're the 85 Bears. We're not. They're not going to score on us. We're the greatest show on turf. I hear you. I'm feeling the same way. Come Saturday, we're gonna go up another 3 points on these suckers, and we're gonna be looking down at the barrel of not just 7th and 8th, not just the 8th and 9th seed. We're gonna also be looking at the 7th seed. That's what I'm excited for, because we have I think 2 games under them, which low key, Julio. That's what I'm kind of looking at. I'm kind of looking at, okay, I know that we want to make the playoffs and we want to get into the play-in, right? But I don't have those aspirations. I have the aspirations to just get in full on.
That's today. You have those aspirations today, because we've had this conversation before in the past, and I was the only one who said that they're going to get in outright. And everybody's like, "Oh, it's going to be tough. We're gonna have to play in. We're gonna have to play in."
It still is tough. Like
2 days ago, and 2 games ago, you thought we were going to lose. So
I think right now, assuming we win those 2 games that are in hand, correct me if I'm wrong, Julio, I'm sure you will. I think we're at 12 points right now, currently behind
So wrong.
Atlanta.
So, okay, 12 points behind Atlanta. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Go on. We're 14.
14. Okay. So we're 14 games behind, and if we win those 2 games in hand, we're going to be 8 points, right? So just
so far, so
points.
good.
So just thank you. So we're at 8 points behind Atlanta. The way I see things, that's a huge gap to still catch up on. You know what I'm saying? So this game's very important, because that's one of the last teams that are in the playoffs that we're trying to catch. And
are we going to get into the play-in or not? Because now it sounds like now you're saying
playing to me seems like
a given. It's a given.
It's a matter of time at this point. What I'm curious about, which is super hard to do still, is getting into the 7th seed.
Let me spell you here, Jose. I feel like you're struggling with all these numbers. So for some context, Inter Miami currently are on 28 points. The last place play-in team, DC United, is on 34 points, and we have 2 games in hand on them. So if you want to make the assumption that we win those 2 games in hand, we are even with DC United. But there are other teams that also have a couple games in hand on them. So depending on how their games match up, whatever. We can only take care of our business. So then from there, Nashville and Atlanta are the bottom 2 playoff non-play-in teams, and they're at 40 and 42 points respectively. So we still need to make up 12 points on them. If you take away the play-ins, or I'm sorry, the games in hand, that's 6 points, right? So we still need to win additional games on top of the 2 that we have in hand. Mathematically, very possible, but if we win this match, it's a 6-pointer. It's a 6-pointer. We said it a couple match previews ago that when we come up against East opposition now, all these matches are 6 points, because we're either fighting to catch up to these teams or we're trying to keep at bay. Right now, Toronto's the only team behind us, but after Saturday, we might jump 2 spots and be level with Charlotte in 11th. Like, out of nowhere, we're then 2 spots out of the play-in. It's a huge match for us. And also, credit to Dave. He said that we would make it as a playoff team.
Thank you, Dave.
4 weeks ago. Good job, Dave. Thanks, Dave.
Whatever. Hey, we've been very fortunate, not to beat a dead horse here, but we've been very fortunate too with the other Eastern teams that have actually lost. That's been a huge help. That's hard to predict, obviously. And that's one reason why we were all saying it's going to be so difficult, because we do need these other teams to lose as well. At minimum tie. So it has been happening. So that's why David's prediction might be coming closer and closer to happening, because these teams are losing. And that's a huge help. We'll see. I haven't looked at the matchups this weekend, so I don't know what exactly needs to happen. But there are some key ones that, just glancing right now, that we're going to be watching closely.
One of the things that I had said when we kind of previewed coming back to league play was that these teams also that are in the bottom half of the East, they're not good teams. So, it's not surprising that only 2 of the teams from 6th place down to where we are in the standings, only 2 of those teams have won a match in their last 2 games. Like for each team's individual last 2 games, only 2 of them have won a match. That's at least 3 points that we've made up on every team. And for most of these teams, we've made up 5 points, 6 points even. Like they are giving us a huge lifesaver, and they're giving us a rope that we're just yanking and pulling and dragging ourselves back into the playoff race, and they're gonna rue the day.
It's funny because like what was the last team that you just said in the standings that we're trying to look at us at the 7th seed is Nashville, right? Nashville, the last 4 games, 3 of them, the last 4 games alone, 3 of them have been ties. And they had a loss as well. So they've had 3 ties and 1 loss. That's their last 4 games. So they're just bleeding out without us even touching them. That's them. And then you're looking at Atlanta. We have control right now. We can literally give them a loss right now. They had a draw the last game and they lost against Cincy before that. This is the perfect path for us right now. These teams are like crumbling. It's like if they know that Messi's here, they're like, oh my God, Messi's here. Let's just, the script, it's perfect script for us. But yeah, they're not. They're kind of faltering, and I kind of felt that while we're watching the Cup, when we're dominating them. When we were watching them, I was like, bro, these teams are not very good. I don't know what's happening, but they're not playing very good form.
Between Atlanta and Miami in the standings, there's a total of 9 teams. Miami's the only one that won their most recent game. All the other teams have either lost or drawn their last match. That we're making up ground left and right. And if we were able to win this match,
huge.
We're just outside looking in.
Hey Jose, you mentioned something that I actually wanted to mention. You're saying that teams were crumbling all around us, whatever. When we last played Atlanta, I think they did crumble because of the presence of Messi during the Leagues Cup. It's the first time they saw him. So that's something I think that we have to think about as well. They've seen Messi already. This is the second time they see him. I think that game really was an outlier. As much as I want to say we're going to whoop them, whatever, our defense is good. I think that game was actually an outlier. I don't think it's probably not going to be as bad as that, just because they're a little more settled in now. They saw Messi play. They got the nerves out of them already. As much as maybe they don't want to admit it, it's a shocker to play with the greatest to ever do it. So I think that's out of their system. We might see a different team this time around.
It'll be at home too, right? Was the first? I don't know what the first one was.
It was at Miami.
It was at Miami, right? So
yeah.
That could also change things.
That was one of those matches where we were still scoring like before the 10th minute of every match. And to your point, Chris, it was they were starstruck because it was the first time they come up against it, and then on top of that, they go down early on a ball that bounces off the post right back to Messi, and of course it's him that scores, and the place was just going bananas, and it was over before it started. That's when we were kind of just flying like that. So speaking of early goals and high scoring affairs, why don't we jump into the predictions? And who wants to lead us off? Is Dave Stradamus in the building?
I think he is in the building. So Dave Stradamus here. Got my Bengals helmet on. Gonna rub it. See what it says. Ooh, dang. Miami's gonna win 6-1. 6-1 they're gonna win. They're gonna score their first goal in the 12th minute. And our newcomers coming on. Santi Morales will be coming on in the 88th minute. Figure it out.
Love it.
Did Dave Stradamus have something to drink?
I wrote that down.
Only the blood of my enemies.
Leche de tigre.
Go ahead, Chris.
All right. So I guess I got to back up my talk for that our defense is going to be great, right? It's only fair.
That's only fair.
You also said fair. Afterwards, you backtracked a little bit afterwards. You're like, I don't think they're, Messi's, they've already seen him, so I don't know. So gotta balance that.
With that point said, it is going to be different. We're going to see a 4-1 win for Miami. They're going to score their goal. because they saw Messi already. They're more relaxed, so they're gonna get a goal in, right? We're not gonna get shut out. Our defense is still gonna do a great job, hold them to 1 goal. We're gonna score 4. Messi's gonna score a brace, 2 goals, Campana another one, and Facu the 4th.
When's the first goal? When's the first?
Oh, first goal. First goal is going to be in the 14th minute. Miami.
I'm predicting it'll be Messi in the 10th minute. Let's getting things started. Then followed by Jordy, and they're going to be starstruck again. Because, yeah, you're right. You haven't seen Messi, but guess what? They have not seen Jordy. And Jordy's going to go to the left wing, and he's going to put one in the back of the net. So, book it. 3-1, Miami.
Love it. I have Inter Miami winning 4-2 with a Messi hat trick, and I agree with you, Jose. I think Alba gets on the score sheet. Book it.
Okay.
God, I would love to see that hat trick. We're all dying for it.
Dying for it.
He can't do it over there. They'll sit him out before he does it. It's not right.
He'll get it done in the first half.
Wow.
All right, guys. So the match again is on Saturday, which is the 15th, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check that real quick. No, the 16th. September 16th, Saturday. It's a 5 p.m. Eastern time kickoff. So that's for us 4 dads. It is the worst possible time for a match, but we will make sure to be there and to get a reaction out afterwards. It may be a little bit further off from the end so that we can jump on the YouTube live. So if you're interested in hopping in, chatting with us while we're recording, feel free to join us. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you know when we do go live. And of course, as always, we'll be tweeting now and posting all over Instagram all the specifics on where it is that you can find that reaction when it does go live. And hopefully, as always with our match recaps, we will bring the pots and pans and champagne bottles. And thanks for stopping by the Heron Heads podcast, your first place for all things Inter Miami.